You won't believe it, guys. There is phenomenal news. It is about time we get something good to talk about. Before we get started, subscribe if you guys new to the channel. You already know we're dropping 2K17 Heat daily. So the news broke yesterday, and I was waiting for this shit to unfold. I was like, yo, where is the news? I couldn't be any more excited, man. This is right down my alley. So NBA 2K is teaming up with the NBA to make an E-League, which is an esports league. It's like a partnership, and I know, I was like, how is this possible? This is amazing. I'm gonna get into the details here in a second, but real quick, I absolutely love the NBA. Like most of you know, I'm a sport management major in university, so we learn about not just leagues and sports, but how to manage sport organizations. And so many times our professors use the NBA as an example of how to do things right. I think we're taking this shit for granted. There is a lot of sports that are either stagnant or dying, and the NBA is booming at such a fucking phenomenal rate because they take risks like this, and it, in my opinion, I think is gonna pay off. So there's the E-League, which is a league that the NBA is apparently helping fund in combination with 2K. So if you remotely cared about Road to the Finals, now there's an actual season, a 5-month season in which players in the NBA 2K community, the best of the best, will be on specific teams. So for example, they said there's gonna be 8 to 12 teams to start, and then eventually all 30 NBA teams were gonna be involved. So for example, if the Raptors noticed your boy Agent and they're like, yo, we're looking for an amazing shooter in NBA 2K18, they would draft. There's a draft. Did I say that part? So basically the NBA teams have their own esports team now, and they have to draft players, train those players, and those NBA 2K players play in a season against other teams. So like the Raptors E-League team versus the Knicks E-League team. And this goes on for the course of 5 months with all the teams involved. They said there's gonna be a grand prize just like there was this year with Road to the All-Star Game, Road to the Finals, whatever you wanna call it. And so the grand prize winner would win that $250,000 or whatever they make the prize amount. On top of that, the players on the E-League teams earn a salary. They talked about everything from licensing deals, you play in stadiums and fans can come and watch you play in the actual stadiums. It sounds like a brilliant idea if it actually gains some traction and it works out. But from everything I'm hearing, they don't exactly know how this is all gonna pan out exactly. They don't have all the details. And then so I don't even think it's them just holding it back. From what I'm hearing, they just don't know yet and they're figuring it out. Which gives me a brilliant opportunity to give my 2 cents because it might make a difference. I don't know. Yeah, might as well find out, right? First of all, I'd like to point out that I'm the GOAT sharpshooter. I just triggered like at least 10 people who are like, I can't believe he said that. I think I'm the best. No, you're not. Let me chill. I'm triggering everybody today. So how exactly, unlike the NCAA where you can go in and scout players, how are the NBA teams meant to scout and then draft those players? I think I'm put at a monumental advantage because I have a YouTube channel that has a lot of views and an audience. But for the average Joe that maybe doesn't upload YouTube or give a fuck about YouTube and they just play the game and they're nice, how do they get noticed? I mean, that's impossible, right? If they don't know you exist, how can they possibly choose you? Unless like they have a whole recruitment thing and they're like, send in a mixtape or something like that, but I doubt they would do something like that. But it would take so long to go through everyone's mixtapes, and that'd be a mission. And then what if the editing plays a factor? Somebody like me, I have money, I can pay for a good mixtape, and then the next guy doesn't and he can't really edit. So there's a lot of question marks. So you would assume like, how are they gonna recruit these players? They could also recruit players based on how well they played in 2K17, but how you can recruit players for the next game based on an old game? Like, this can be completely different. There's every indication based on what's been said, and there's been a million news stories about this, everywhere from USA Today, Engadget, Mashable, Forbes. It was on TV earlier today. Adam Silver was talking about it. So this is a real thing. So I think it's gonna be interesting how they choose to do that. I don't know how they're gonna recruit players, but I'm waiting to see. So each team gets 5 players that can represent its team. They're held on a contract, and apparently they have a salary, and they play over the course of the season, and then at the end there's a grand prize, and then next season you do it all over again. Hopefully, if it continues. We'll see if this actually works first. A couple of the articles that were talking about it were talking about how Road to the Finals was like a massive success. Now, I'd hate to like shit on this parade because trust me, I'm incredibly excited. But Road to the Finals was pulling 2,000 views on NBA 2K's Twitch. I mean, in contrast, Rainbow Six, the esports is only like, the game's like 1.5 years, 2 years old. They were pulling 20,000 on the console version, pulling about 60,000 on the PC version. That's a relatively new game for esports. I don't think Road to the Finals was a success. I think, like, I like the idea of Road to the Finals. I just think they didn't execute it properly, and therefore people just didn't care. If you watched Road to the Finals, you also saw teams have their players lag out. And some of those teams still won, which, like, that means you're fucking amazing. If your player can lag out, you're playing with the AI and you're still able to compete against some of the best teams on NBA 2K17. So of course we all know the servers, that's gonna have to definitely be addressed. You can't have someone lag out in this East, and now you're affiliated with the NBA. If you mess up, it's gonna look poorly on them. And so I'm remaining optimistic, because for this to happen and for it to go down properly, there's gonna have to be some serious improvements on 2K that I think fans have been waiting for a while. So even if you don't care about this E-League, I think you'd be happy to know that they have to clean up parts of their game. Like, I was watching Road to the Finals and I saw, like, issues. I was like, yo, if I saw Call of Duty do that, I know the fan base would be mad about that. But I guess we're just kind of used to all that here on 2K. So I'm here to just, yo, if we have time and they haven't made those decisions yet, hold on, let me give my input. First of all, this is something everyone that plays Pro-Am or 2K can agree with. Can we get like a private Pro-Am so we can play with friends, against friends, online? That makes perfect sense. When you're trying to practice, you don't always want to be playing the same people, especially if you're Elite 6, you're playing the same 2-3 teams over and over and over again. That can get annoying. I think that one's fairly obvious though, so let's move on. NBA 2K, y'all need a theater mode. Like, there should be a way for us to, after the game is finished, without having to record it, because not everybody has the money for an Elgato, to go back and analyze the footage. This worked, this is where a defense broke down, we could have set this pick here and improved here offensively. Like, you guys have to give the players enough flexibility for them to seriously sit there and call this esports, because what we had this year, it wasn't esports. It was like, it was competitive NBA basketball in video games. It wasn't esports. To get to esports, you have to launch a tier above, and they're not there yet as of 2K17. I don't think so, at least. There's a lot of stuff missing. I think a theater mode would be dope. I think in Black Ops 1, they initially introduced that in Call of Duty, and they haven't looked back since. I think it's a phenomenal feature. Alright, I'm pushing it here, alright? But, you know, I'm gonna plant it in the minds of whoever is watching this video. What if there were specific ways where we can change settings on how the AI reacts to the way that we play? So if we know that the team we're playing against is gonna guard pick and rolls heavy and they're gonna go on a hard hedge, if we triggered the AI to do the same thing on the other team, and by doing that you can kind of, you know what I mean? So like when you're playing AI, for example, in a private Pro-Am with your team, you're trying to practice, you can program the AI to be more attuned to what you're expected to face when you're actually in the game. Does that make sense? They're definitely gonna have to improve the archetype system because there's some major flaws with it this year. All signs are showing that the archetype system is back, so we don't know too much. Of course, it's not gonna be officially talked about until maybe a few weeks till that game launch, but it looks like it's coming back, so which I'm fine with. I think the archetype system isn't a bad idea. I just think it needs to be implemented properly for it to be successful, and so people don't go crazy with making a million builds so that they can finally get the player that they actually want. I think they need like a broadcast specific view. Now I'm not talking about that broadcast view that, you know, the generic view that you get when you boot up 2K and you gotta switch to 2K view every time, like everyone already doesn't use the 2K view. So of course you don't need like a bird's eye view in 2K, but I think there should be more customizability, especially because it's in other aspects of the game. Like if you hop in my career, you can change your camera angle to a bunch of different settings, but when you hop on like Pro-Am, you can't. There's like is there two options? Broadcast and 2K? What else is there? And the last one, I think this will be interesting, is like a choose your archetype screen. So instead of you hop in the game and then you're like, okay, this is what my matchup is. Team, tell me your matchup. What's your matchup? There should be a way when the game starts, point guard, sharpshooter, playmaker, point forward, stretch big, like whatever the case is, like there should be a layout where you see what your team has, what their team has, just so you can match up and strategize before the game starts. Plus, aesthetically, it looks nice. So if it's not, I don't know how much work that is to do because I'm not a programmer, but if that's at all possible, I think that'd be a great addition. I mean, there's probably a bunch of other things you guys can name, but I feel like as long as they get like at least a couple of those, I think they'll be alright. And of course, mainly is the servers, I think we could all agree on. Which for some reason, by the way, I don't know if I'm tripping, and maybe you guys can fact check me. On my end, I don't know why have the server's been getting worse over the last couple weeks. Like, it's progressively, like every day I'm like, yo, why does my release feel different? Oh, because it's lagging, so I have to release it different right now. And I don't know, it throws me off. Anyway, I'm excited. I played amateur game battles on Ghost Recon, NBA 2K13, 14, 15, 16, on Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, recently on Uncharted. So, I mean, listen, if there's an opportunity for me to play competitive, right, and win some money, right, and be in a league and be affiliated with the NBA, you know I have to take a shot. This is some exciting news. Let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. I know people were incredibly excited about it on Twitter. I feel like everyone's talking about it. Some news sources that have nothing to do with 2K were talking about it today on YouTube. I was like, wow, it's gaining that kind of traction. But something I found a little weird was, I don't know, man, 2K has some serious connects, because, yo, hold on, give me a second. On their Twitter, they post, like, all the articles that people are writing about them. Hold on, y'all won't believe how many people are writing about this. So, Fox Sports, USA Today Sports, Engadget, there we go, Slam Online, Mashable, Forbes, Adam Silver quotes because he was on TV talking about it. The CEO of 2K Sports was talking about it. The Seattle Times over here. What else is there? ESPN made an article about it. Everybody's talking about this. So I don't know. When I saw so many links popping up, I was like, God damn, yo, these guys have some serious connects, man. I don't know, but I mean, here's to hoping that 2K can reach the new echelon when it comes to competitive sports, because they're capable. Sport is inherently competitive, and so naturally it should be able to work. But so far it hasn't. At least not to the... I think we would obviously want more than 2K views on Twitch for Road to the Finals. Even though they're pushing Pro-Am right now, like, it just feels like such a bare bones game mode. The community is minuscule. Not to say it doesn't exist or it's not valued, it's just not as big as it probably should be if the features were already implemented into the game. So, I think there's a lot of pressure now, right? Because you can't have an E-League and have people lagging out of games and people lagging, Euro step out of bounds for the game. You can't have crazy stuff happening like that. That would be a disaster. But hey, those are my thoughts. Let me know what y'all think. I'm gonna be reading the comments. Drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm out. Peace.